The Sadducees, those who say there is no resurrection, came to him, him being Christ, and asked him a question. Teacher, you can hear me all right? Teacher, Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies, leaving a wife with no children, the man shall marry the widow and raise children from his brother. Now there were 7 brothers. The first married and died childless. The second and the third married her, and all the way down through the 7th, all childless. Finally, the woman also died. In the resurrection, therefore, whose wife will the woman be? For the 7 had all married her. And Jesus said to them, those who belong to this age marry and are given in marriage. But those who are considered worthy of a place in the age and in the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage. Indeed, they cannot die anymore, because they are like angels, are children of God, being children of the resurrection. And the fact that the dead are raised, Moses himself showed in the story about the bush, when he speaks of the Lord as the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. Now he is God, not of the dead, but of the living. For to him all of them are alive. Then some of the scribes answer, Teacher, you have spoken well, for there are no longer dared to ask another question. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Yeah, thank you. On Thursday this week, I took Nico, my youngest, to the fields in Sorrento where he had a game. One of the first things that you do when you get there is you put everything in place, your bat, your helmet, your glove, and you go and warm up. I'm one of the coaches that helps, and we're talking about baseball, and I'm trying to get them hype. All of a sudden, I hear this tiny voice. Hi, Nico. Nico turns around. And I said, who's that? One of my girlfriends. One, I said. He says, yeah. Let's call her Anita. It's just Anna. Nico, but she's saying hi. He's like, yeah, I'm busy. Oh. Well, I think you should go say hi. Well, I need to concentrate. We're about to have a baseball game. I said, okay, fair. I go say hi and, are you Nico's dad? Yes, I am. Okay. Nico, are you coming? Nico turns around. To tell you the short story, he never approached the fence. So I end up talking to her. She wanders off, kind of sad. Nico didn't approach her to show, attention and all that. And I tell Nico, how do you know that she's your girlfriend? You know what he said? Well, I have abs. And he lifts his shirt. Now, what you don't know is that there is a movie that tells you, it's a cartoon movie, and in the movie, it's called like Demon Hunters or something. It's about 3 girls, K-pop singers, and one of them wants a boyfriend with abs. And he's been watching this movie and singing this movie, and that's where he got it from. And I'm like, well, I have a wife, I have no abs. And I talked to him about the importance of friendships and acknowledging the friendships. And then it dawned on me that he says one of my girlfriends. And I said, well, how many girlfriends do you have? I said, he has 3. One at school, one at church, At church? And where's the other one? Oh, neighborhood. And I'm having this conversation with him, and I really want to have a serious conversation with him because it is not acceptable to have multiple relationships like that. And you will say, oh, he's just 6. But this is a problem in our community. And it was even a problem in times of Jesus. If you pay attention to the scriptures, there is this group of people called the Sadducees. And they really didn't want to know Jesus. They really want to understand Jesus. They wanted to catch Jesus off guard. There was the Pharisees, there were the Sadducees, and there were the Zealots. And they all have their own agenda. And they want to trick Jesus, asking a question about this woman who was married. Her husband died, and by law of Moses in Deuteronomy, she had to marry the brother. Now, this was not in purpose for the husband to have many wives, but the purpose was for the woman to be protected. But the Sadducees don't care about that. They care about catching Jesus. So in the example, the woman marries once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. And they say, to whom is she going to be married when she gets to heaven? And I say, that is the wrong question. The right question should be, what are those men eating that they are dying? Shouldn't you be asking the question, what is this woman doing right? Or maybe do what she is doing? Joke aside, women are still in danger to this day. I don't know if you have seen the news about this woman that was knocking the wrong door and got shot through the peephole. And as I was watching this news and I saw the comment, I quickly walked away from those comments because I felt my blood was just raising. There were people saying, oh, poor woman. And there was on the other side, they said, well, maybe she deserved it. I walked away because I knew that there was nothing good out of that comment section. And that's to show you that still in this reality, we are still dealing with that reality. Because right now, it is more important to be right than doing the right thing. I don't know if you kind of like this behavior of Jesus, but Jesus doesn't answer the question. In fact, Jesus answers the question with another question. How many of you do that on purpose? I do. It annoys smell really bad. Probably annoys some of you. But sometimes the right answer is not with the answer, but with an even better question. How many of us are investing our life and our future in institutions? Marriage is an institution. But sometimes government is an institution. School, you name it. And let me in you in a secret. The church is even an institution. And this in the problem with the institutions is that they want to be right rather than doing the right thing. And that's the thing that Jesus wants to challenge. If you pay attention to this chapter, Luke 20, you will see that Jesus is challenged by different themes. If you begin, and this is a list, and I'm not going to because I was told that I only have 15 minutes to preach. Can you believe that? But if you see the structure, you will see that first Jesus' authority is challenged. They say, in whose authority are you saying these things? Then the other challenge is when Jesus tells them the parable of the wicked tenants. When the owner goes away and leaves the tenants and they kill the servants, meaning the prophets, and then they killed the child, the son of the owner, all to keep the land. Then you will see a challenge of give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give to God what belongs to God. You will see all of these challenges because one of the challenges of Christians is that we like to be right rather than doing the right thing. Today, I want you to challenge your own institutions. Those institutions that you like to follow, I want you to challenge them in light of not doing what makes you right, but to challenge and be challenged to do what is right. Don't put too much effort on having the right answer. Pay attention to doing what is right, because after all, that is the purpose of the resurrection. The purpose of the resurrection isn't about you having a second life. The point of the resurrection is not for you to gain additional time in life. The purpose of resurrection is not for you to continue whatever is it that you were doing before. The purpose of resurrection is for you to understand that God has enhanced a future where you and I belong to Him. The resurrection isn't about having a do-over. The resurrection is about being in right relationship with God. Beloved church, today I want you to have as a goal not being right, but doing what is right. To God be the glory. Amen.